past, so they listen to my song. So let's go back to where it began and where it all started from. Take this chance, one last dance, cause I've been waiting way too long. Take my hand, I wanna show you something. Promise I've been dying to see ya. They say the grass ain't always greener. I guess what they're saying is true. In my dreams, that's where I seen her. Take my heart and take all of me, girl. Let me show you what I wanna do. I wanna spend the rest of my life with you. Are you listening, darling? Look where we started. Breaking in half, left us broken hearted. So where do we go from here? Are you listening, darling? Look where we started. Breaking in half, left us broken hearted. So where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Yeah, where do we go from here? Are you listening, darling? Are you listening, darling? Are you listening, darling? Look where we started. Breaking in half, left us broken hearted. So where do we go from here?
Hello and welcome back, everybody, to another live stream. So, of course, my name is AJ, one of the mentors here at Bit Trading, and today we are going to run through the Bitcoin technical analysis as we always do. We're going to take a look at how I'm positioned in this market, what we're looking at, okay, and then of course what I'm looking for next as well, to of course take advantage of these price movements exactly like we are right now. So yeah, if that all does sound interesting, please do smash that thumbs up button. It really helps me out, helps the channel out, and I can continue to bring this content to you. And of course, if you are new to the channel, please do subscribe for more updates like this. And yeah, along the way, if you do have anything that you want to talk about, anything that you want me to look at, then yeah, do of course put that in the chat, and I will be more than happy to yeah, to take a look at anything that you guys want to look at. But yeah, enough of that. Let's jump into it. Let's take a look at what's going on. So of course, for any regular watchers here, I'm sure that you are aware, right? I am still in this short trade. Okay, I'm still very much short. This short, I'll go over it very briefly because I don't want to bore people who are here on a regular basis. But yeah, Monday the 30th of September, of course, we entered into that short trade, and yeah, I did tell the team on the Discord, as I always do, when I took that trade. Just took the short Monday, the 30th of September. There was the short, okay, coming into that naked point of control, right? We had lots and lots of long trades that opened up on this move up here, and then we did see that failed auction for that trade entry trigger for that short trade. And yeah, I guess the rest is history, right? Price pulled back. Okay, we took a really nice TP1. As I told the team here, I still feel as though we can go lower. That's exactly what we got. All of those longs getting wrecked. Okay, TP2 at that naked point of control that we did actually speak about as well. You know, not just with the team on the daily market updates, but also here with you guys on YouTube, right? And then, of course, moving the stop loss to entry, making it a completely risk-free trade. And yeah, these are just some of the other updates, right? But yeah, again, still very much in this short trade. So yeah, that's why I've entered into the short trade. That's when I entered into the short trade, okay? And we've seen price pull back. We've had a bit of a rise towards the upside, right? And yeah, we came close to my stop loss because my stop loss is at entry, which is at, yeah, we can actually see it over here, $64,500. That's where my stop loss is. However, okay, we did actually front run that. So I am still actually in that short trade, as you can see here. And yeah, I kind of, you know, this is how I've kind of been feeling right this week, especially at the start of this week when I was really speaking about this, which was, yeah, of course, like the Monday and the Tuesday, where I was saying that this rise was a bit of a weak rise up. You know, it's not the best, and you know, I've kind of, you know, I don't like to do it, but kind of portraying that I feel as though the market is going to go down, and you know, I did just have this feeling at this area that we were going to see the market pull back. Now, you know, this is again, like, this is just something that This it's just a feeling that I have inside myself, just because I have experience in these markets, and I kind of sometimes can have this feeling for it. But like, just to clarify, right, this is not something I'm going to trade, right? Just because I have a feeling that the market is going to rise, or I have a feeling that the market's going to pull back, does not mean that I'm going to short, right? And that's what I always try and be a little bit careful with, with saying like, I feel like the market's going to pull back here, or I feel like the market's going to pump here, because I don't want to give the wrong impressions, right? Because I'm saying that does not mean I'm entering into a trade. In this case, right, I'm already in a short trade, right? So that kind of gives me a bit more of an incentive not to take a trade, because for me it's a bit of a stupid trade as it is. Again, there's probably a valid trade from up here. I understand there is confluence up here for a valid trade. I didn't take it, okay, because it wasn't in my plan, right? It's not usually a trade that I would take as well, because we weren't really seeing any absorption up here. Again, when we're looking at fibs, which this was some of the confluence that we were looking at up there, right? You've got a GP 786 area. Ooh. Okay. Okay. Great area, right? But for me, and how I like to trade, I don't like to use fib levels without absorption. But I know that there are many traders out there, and I personally know, some traders, okay, who I know that are consistently profitable, and at the same time they use fibs in a slightly different way that I do, right? They don't require absorption at the fibs, but again, this is it's all personal, right? So yeah, again, like I was saying kind of at the start of the week, right, I just had this feeling that we were going to give this rise back, and that's exactly what we're doing now. When we're having a bit of a rubbish rise up like this, there is, or even a pullback, right? There is a high chance that we do give that move back, right? And that's exactly what we've seen here. And yeah, we're kind of coming towards that zone, that I've had planned to long. Okay, so this is kind of where we're coming into, which of course is this kind of like area of 56,425 and 57,850. This sort of zone here is a level of interest for me, and we will of course go through this. What else? Yeah, I'll cover something else as well. We'll take a little look at the Elliott wave as well. At this time as well, so yeah, we'll get onto that in a minute as well. But yeah, this kind of area here is, of course, like I've been saying all week, like I've been telling the team as well, this is an area that I'm interested in actually taking along from. So yeah, we've got some naked points of control here, right? Just move that out of the way for a second. We've got, of course, the fib from previous low to most recent high, okay, and that's kind of that area, right? This is kind of this area that we're looking at for price to pull back to. Now, I do understand that this is a very, very big zone, okay, so we have to be careful when entering into a trade here, but yeah, it is quite a big zone. I would preferably be looking for a long trade at either one of these naked points of control, okay? At either one of them. I want to kind of see what's happening coming into the order flow and taking a look in the time when we are tapping those levels. But just to get a bit of an understanding, we are still very much getting absorption, okay? We're still very much getting absorption, right? Why? Because we can see that there is an incredible amount of, market sells that are coming into the market, right? This is portrayed by the CVD, right, which is continuously, right, making these lows, okay, and initially going lower, right, telling us that there is a lot of selling happening here, right? A lot of selling happening here. However, when we take a look at the price action chart, we're actually looking bullish, okay? We're actually looking bullish on the price action chart. Why? Because we're forming this bullish structure. We're forming higher lows, right? So this is telling us that, okay, yes, there's more selling coming in this period here than there was in this period here. However, price is higher. Okay, price is higher. So this is telling us, right, there's probably a big player around this area here, okay, who is absorbing all of those sells coming into the market, right? So all of those sells coming into the market is being bought up straight away by a big buy limit order. And this, in turn can be quite bullish, right? It can be quite bullish. It can be very, very bullish, right? And it works, of course, the opposite way. But of course, we're speaking about this way because this is what is happening right now. So if price is going to come into a key area, right? That's part of it. We can't just look at this and think, okay, we're getting bullish CVD, right? We're getting absorption. We're going to long, right? We can't do that. We need to look for confluences, right? Again, you still need to look for confluences because, if you took the long trade where the absorption started, which was it was kind of all the way back up here, to be honest with you, you would be in a bit of a loss right now. Okay, you would be in quite a bit of a loss, and you could be in an even bigger loss, right, if price is going to continue to pull back to kind of this area that we're looking for. So again, always looking for confluence with a trade, and then a GP, right? A GP, of course, it works in my eyes amazingly with what we're seeing here, which is of course absorption. So of course we do have that GP 786 from the previous low to most recent high, and then pulling up the naked points of control, we have naked points of control 56,425, and we have one at 57,850. Now originally it was just the 56,425 when we were looking at it, when we were planning it ages ago, right? But now we do have this naked point of control, just literally at the 0.618. So I mean this is gonna cause a little bit of a harder trade, right? Because now there's kind of two area. Again, this is still a good zone, but like in terms of what area we enter into, for me anyway, it's going to be a little bit harder. Okay, it's not necessarily impossible, right? It will be a little bit harder, but okay, there are ways around this, and again, this is not something that I tend to do, but you could ladder in to a trade at this area. And then, of course, how I prefer to do it is just entering in at a set level. So, basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to look, right, see what price is doing or what the reaction is like at, the first naked point of control at 57,850. Of course, if we come down there, we could just pump from here. We may not come down to it, right? But yeah, I'll see what we're looking like there. If we just lose that, we don't show any signs of strength, okay, I can look towards like 56,425 and we'll see what happens there. But initially, I do like this area for a long trade. I do, okay? And it also lines up with the bullish structure that we've been talking about, right? Bullish structure, we haven't seen this in 7-8 months. So it's looking really, really good, right? And for this bullish rise to continue, right, what do we need to do? Okay, well, we need to see this bullish structure hold. So, right, if we are to look bullish here, which we're looking like we are gonna look pretty bullish down here, but again, we still need to see what happens at these naked points of control levels, right? But it seems like we're going to look quite strong down there at this moment in time. Again, things can change, but it's looking like we can look quite strong down there. Okay, so we'll just have to see, right? We'll just have to see. Okay, and if we want, like I said, to continue this bullish direction, okay, this bullish price action, right, this is kind of the level that we need to hold, right? This is the level, because if we lose this level, we're cutting it very, very close to then breaking that bullish structure, which then for me kind of just gets a little bit, it just makes the whole scenario that we're in right now even more bearish. Because again, where I'm positioned, okay, is I am bearish. Right, I am bearish. Why am I bearish? Well, because why have I been bearish for the past seven months? Right. Well, that's because we've been in bearish structure. Okay, there's a valid reason to be bearish. It's not that I'm extremely bearish, looking for a bear market, looking for 10K. No, that's not it. Right, I'm bearish because of a valid reason. We are in bearish market structure. Do I have absurd price targets towards the downside? Absolutely not. Right, absolutely not. All I've been looking for once I've been bearish, okay, and I'm sure many of you can vouch for me as well, right? All I've been looking low, right? I'm not giving crazy price targets of 20K, of 10K, that's not what I mean, and that's not what I mean when I'm saying I'm bearish, right? Initially, okay, all I've been looking for is a new low, and that's pretty much what has happened every single time, other than this one here. Okay, other than this one where we were coming down, then we actually started to look quite bullish down here, right? And that's now where we've kind of flipped the structure, right? And we are now in higher time frame bullish structure, which again we haven't seen for 7-8 months. We have this for an extremely long time. Now, just because we're bullish, does this mean I'm not going to short? Absolutely not, right? I'm in a short trade now, okay? We're getting ever so closer to another TP level, right? We're getting ever so close to another TP level where I can take some more profits off of this long trade, right? Short trade. But of course, right, I understand how we are looking right now. And I understand, okay, yes, the broader perspective is still quite bearish because we need to break above 70k to invalidate that. But, we're showing some signs of strength. We're showing some signs that we can get out of this bearish trend that we are in. And for that to continue, we need to hold this bullish structure. And of course, we need to look bullish here. And of course, that's when I'm going to be looking for the long, right? Because this could be that pivot point, right? This could be the pivot point where price then comes down into it. We get the long trade, we take the long trade, price comes up for another high, okay? And then, of course, we get ever so closer to 70k, which, of course, getting above 70k means we can invalidate or we can break out of that higher time frame bearish structure that we've been in for, like I said, 7-8 months, right? Very, very long time. So, yeah, this is, again, the plan that I've got. This is the plan that I'm ready and waiting for. And then, yeah, talking about Elliott Wave, like I mentioned at the start, this is where we can start looking at, I haven't pulled Elliott Wave counts in a while now, but this is kind of where we can also, right, start to pull Elliott Wave counts again, right? Why? Because we're in structure that allows us to be able to pull Elliott Wave counts, right? Previously, as you know, if you were watching all the way back here, if you were a watcher of the channel back in March, April, May, June, July, right? All back here, okay, we were pulling Elliott Wave counts. So we were looking at Elliott Waves to help us enter into these trades, help us take these trades, right? But yeah, we kind of got a little bit too far. And yeah, there was just kind of no more counts to pull anymore because it just kept on going. It just kept on going, right? And yeah, now we are in a position where we can start looking at Elliott Wave, right? We can start looking at Elliott Wave. And what is happening, right? Well, we've formed Wave 1, we formed Wave 2, we formed Wave 3. Now we're coming down to form Wave 4, right? We're coming down to form Wave 4. And at some point, okay, if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bullish count, right? At some point, we're going to see a pivot point for price to possibly come up for Wave 5. Right, and of course, where is Wave 5 taking us? Well, Wave 5 is taking us above Wave 3, okay? And of course, this continues that bullish structure, okay? This just continues that bullish structure, right? And this, of course, is what we would initially like to see for the long trade, right? So, of course, we're looking for Wave 4 to kind of end in this region here, okay, where there's lots of confluence for a long trade. And if we do see the long trade, we're looking to take that long trade and we're looking to take that above Wave 3 to complete Wave 5, okay? And then what, this just like coincides with a plan that I've had for quite a while now where, if we do see this, okay, we do see price come up, make, form Wave 5, which is getting above Wave 3, okay? What are we looking for up here, right? What are we looking for up here? Well, we're looking for a short trade up here. Right, we've had this plan for quite some time as well, a possible short trade from up here, okay? What happens after, what tends to happen after a Wave 5 has been completed, right? Well, we tend to see some sort of ABC correction, okay? We tend to see some sort of ABC correction, okay? Again, if you were watching the channel back in March, April, May, June, July, all back then, okay, we were using these counts. We were using the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then to the ABC, okay, and just it worked out amazingly, okay, amazingly back here. Really, really helped us with entering into trades, okay, and again, we can start using it again now, okay, because we have the price action that allows us to of course use it. So this is of course now what we can be looking for, right? We can be looking for this possible wave 4 to be completed here, to then come up to form a wave 5, right? I think this is looking quite good. Okay, I do think this is looking quite good. Of course, it can change, right? And we have to analyze what is actually going on down here. Okay, but where we're at right now, I do think it looks quite good for a possible rise off of this level. So it's all about patience now. It's all about patience. Let's get down to that level, right? If we do get down to that level, of course, it offers another opportunity to get, to realize some more profits on this short trade, which would be absolutely amazing, right? And we can of course then look for a possible long trade to take that higher, and then from up there, we're looking for that possible short trade as well. So again, this is my plan, right? This is my plan. It's really, really nice to see when a plan comes into fruition. Okay, but again, we're not there yet, right? We're not there yet, right? We waited patiently for this short trade up here. We got it. It's really nice to see that plan playing out. Okay, now we've got a new plan, okay, which is a long trade off of here to come up for a possible short trade, right? Now it's just patience. Let's see if we get what we want to see. If we get what we want to see, we take the trade, okay, and then of course we wait patiently for that next trade. And again, we do the same thing. If the trade is there, we take the trade and we then remain patient, okay? Wait for the trade to do its thing. It's looking good. It's looking really good. Stock market is still pretty much at all-time highs. And again, this it just like highlights what I say to you guys quite a lot, which is stock market dumps, Bitcoin dumps. Stock market pumps, Bitcoin doesn't always have to follow it, right? It doesn't always have to follow it. But when we see the stock market dump, Bitcoin just dumps. It just does. It just always dumps. Of course, not always, but yeah, like 95% of the time, it just does. But in terms of stock market pumping and then Bitcoin pumping, that kind of happens a lot less, right? I can't really put a statistic on it, but let's say like 50%. Okay, it doesn't always happen, right? So and I've showed previous examples of this, right, where we see the stock market pump, Bitcoin dumps, stock market continues to dump, and then Bitcoin eventually follows it, but it has, of course, that dump first. So just because we're seeing the stock market pump and Bitcoin dump doesn't mean that we need to, be pulling our hair out, getting really, really scared. Okay, it just means, okay, Bitcoin needs to go a little bit lower before it can then pump, right? Like I said, if the stock market does continue to pump, right, we're stalling here at all-time high, so we could pull back, and that wouldn't be good for Bitcoin. But if the stock market does continue to make new all-time highs and we continue higher, right, Bitcoin, okay, I would expect, okay, to actually follow it at some point, right? Have a bit more of a pullback, fine, but at some point, I would expect it to follow it. That's just what tends to happen. And then, okay, this let's tie it all together, right? Let's tie it all together now. Okay, this is looking really, really good. We're expecting a pullback as it is anyway, right? We're expecting a little bit more of a pullback. We want a little bit more of a pullback for this zone here, okay, which is, of course, a nice opportunity, a really, really nice opportunity to look for a long trade, right? Where from there, okay, we can, of course, look for wave 4 to be completed, right? Where are we? Here. Wave 4 to be completed. For then price to possibly come up and form wave 5, which is getting above wave 3. Okay. And whilst Bitcoin does do that, right, or possibly does do that, sorry, i.e. pulls back and then starts to rise, what could we see the stock market do? We could see the stock market, because of course the stock market is going to move whilst Bitcoin's moving, right? We could see the stock market continue to rise, continue to make all-time highs, right? If we are to see that, again, it's never going to influence my trade, right? Just because the stock market is pumping does not mean I'm going to enter into a trade, right? But it just gives us a bit of confidence, right? That, okay, if we're going to continue to see the stock market rise, right, and Bitcoin's coming into a big, big level that we're looking to long, right, then there is a little bit, it fills us up with a little bit more confidence in the trade, because I know, right, because, had experience in these markets and looking at both of these markets, I know, right, that when the stock market pumps and Bitcoin dumps, we do tend to see Bitcoin follow it, but a little bit later, right? Bitcoin just dumps and then it starts to follow it, right? I've shown previous examples of it over the past few months. Okay, we were looking at that a few months ago. So yeah, if you remember us talking about that, then you will know what I'm talking about, right? But we do see this happen. So yeah, just because we're seeing Bitcoin dump here does not mean, right? And of course, yeah, I'm in the short trade. Okay, it does not mean I'm extremely bearish on Bitcoin. Okay, it does not mean I'm extremely bearish on Bitcoin. I'm just trading what the charts are telling me, really. Okay, the charts told me there was a high probability chance that price could pull back from up here. Okay, the charts are also telling me there's a high probability chance that we could see a reversal at this area here. Okay, so all I'm doing is I'm reading the charts, right, and then taking action on that, right? By taking action, I'm entering into the trade. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for at this moment. Of course, if you do have any questions, please do put them in the chat. I'll be more than happy to take a look at anything that you want to look at or any questions that you guys have. But yeah, and if of course if you got your own opinions as well, please do put those opinions in the chat as well. I know that Jasby a few streams ago, I know he shared his opinions on the market and where he thinks the market is going, and he was looking for the market to actually pump from here. Okay, he was actually looking for the market to pump, which we did see a bit of a pump, right? But we have continued lower. And yeah, this is. I hope he didn't lose any money. But this is kind of just where the market wants to go at this moment in time. And I think if you were looking for a long trade here, anywhere here, I think you have to consider yourself as okay, right. Let me just backtrack a little bit. If you're looking for a long trade here, okay, and you are looking for higher prices, okay, let's say towards like $68,000, okay, then you have to like rethink, okay, in my personal experience, you have to rethink, right? Why are you looking for higher prices here? Why? Okay, what is the reason for looking for higher prices here? Because in my eyes, you can go back and you can look at the streams, right? I was saying that I did not like this rise towards the upside, and I think we could give it back. It's exactly what we have done. I didn't really see any major signs of strength. Okay, even down here, even though we got a pump, I was saying that, okay, I don't actually see any major signs of strength here. Okay, yeah, okay, there is a long trade off of this, and if you did take a long trade, okay, again, it's a trade, right? It's not I'm entering into a long here expecting $67,000. It's a trade, so treat it as a trade. Take your TP1, move your stop loss to entry. Okay, treat it like a trade. Do not treat it like a bet, right? Because if you're looking at entering into a trade here and you are looking for price to come to $67,000 and you are relying on price to do that, otherwise you get wrecked, then that is a bet, my friend, and you are not a trader. Okay, but you can flip the switch, right? You can enter into a trade here, absolutely fine. If you've got a valid reason for it, absolutely fine, right? You see the rise, great. Okay, you're in a good trade, but what separates the successful traders from the unsuccessful traders is taking that profit and then, of course, moving that stop loss to entry. I do apologize. My dog has decided to destroy a plastic bag. So yeah, for me, did not see any signs of strength there. And yeah, it just wasn't. Again, it wasn't in my plan. Okay, it wasn't in my plan. Could I have had a successful trade from there? Probably yes. Right. It wasn't in my plan. My plan for a long trade was lower prices. It's kind of what we're seeing now. Okay, it's kind of what we're seeing. Right. So. Yeah, I just feel, I feel for people who don't have a good understanding of, why prices, why they feel prices going to rise. Okay. And what I mean by that is, they're looking at retail trading patterns, some sort of, retail trading pattern that doesn't really have any meaning to it. Okay. And yeah, that can seriously wreck people. And to be perfectly honest with you as well, like I'm being very cautious on any rise that we get up anyway, because bearish, right? I'm being very cautious, and we know, right? We know for you OGs here, for you guys that have been watching for the past 6 months, right? We know, okay, that everybody has longed every single move up. Okay. However, they have not shorted the move down. And what has happened on the move down? Well, their long trades have got wrecked. Okay. So yeah, we have to be cautious on any move up because we know what the moves up are fueled by. The moves up are fueled by FOMO long trades, okay, over position, over leveraged long trades that are opening up, and it just doesn't end well. And it hasn't ended well for 6, 7, 8 months for them, right? It hasn't ended well for a very, very long time. So yeah, for me, just being very cautious on the rise doesn't mean I'm not looking for long trades. Of course, I've taken long trades, okay, but I just got to be very, very cautious with them because it can get very messy very, very quickly. And again, it's proven it time and time and time again. We know, okay, we know here, that it can get messy very quickly, and of course, that's what we're looking to take advantage of. So yeah, I'll just pull up the chat. Damien, good to see you back, my friend. TP2 on the short. Congrats, my friend. Congratulations. So you, so from what I can remember, you took another short trade from this pivot point here, if I'm remembering correctly. That's where you took that short trade from. Because I remember you said you took a long trade and then you took a short trade. So yeah, congrats, man. I don't know if you. Did you update that in the TA chat? No, but you did put it in here, didn't you? But yeah, what's you the bullish bat in the making? Yes, exactly. Yeah, so yeah, this is amazing to see. This is amazing to see. Still, I need to get on these. I need to start looking at these bats. But yeah, yeah, Damien is very, very good at very good at finding them. And yeah, what we saw here, right, was of course price had this rise up to A, pulled back to B, right, perfectly rose up to C. Okay, that's what this bit of a pump was here. Okay, perfectly rose up to C. Then what are we looking for? We're looking for D. All right, so we're looking for price to come down to, let's call it here, it's a bit hard to see, but $54,000, let's say, okay, $54,000, that's where price is kind of heading to, right? That's where price is kind of heading to. And we do have a naked point of control down there, okay? Now, yeah, this of course contradicts my analysis a little bit, right? Of course, there's a lot of times where Damien and my analysis will actually line up pretty perfectly. But then, of course, there are going to be times when there are bits of, there are differences, okay? There are differences. And this is kind of where there is a little bit of a difference, because if we're looking at this bat, right? If we're looking at this bat that Damien's kindly shared on the Discord, right? He, of course, is looking towards $54,000, right? $54,000. Now, again, this is a nice level, right? Because we've got a naked point of control just above it at 54,425, right? Really, really nice. Okay. But before that, okay, of course, I'm kind of looking at this area for a possible long trade. Okay. So of course, we've got a bit of a bit of a difference here, but it doesn't mean that either analysis could be wrong, right? We could see price actually pull back, get a very quick wick to 54, and then continue up. Right. Of course, I'm just going to check. I'm going to see what the reaction is like at either one of these naked point of controls, whatever it may be. Okay. But yeah, it's just patience from here. We'll see how this plays out. But yeah, of course, there is always going to be a little bit of a difference in analysis. A lot of the time they can line up, but not all of the time. Right. And of course, there is a little bit of a gap. Okay. A little bit of a gap between the analysis. And yeah, again, this is like, you got to trade your plan. this shows that you kind of have to just trade your plan, what you think works, right? And of course, I'm only going to take a trade here when I'm confident that I'm seeing some sort of sign of strength, okay? And that could happen, okay, here, that could happen here, okay? Or we could come all the way down here and we could actually see it happen at the end of that bat that Damien shared with us, okay? So it could be either one of those naked points of control. So yeah, or it could well happen off the 786. It could literally just happen off the GP. Who knows where it's going to happen? Okay, we don't know. We can only wait patiently. Okay, and then of course monitor that order flow and see what's going on. And of course, when I'm like talking about a reaction, it's like, okay, what are retail traders doing here? That's kind of the main thing. Also, what are big traders doing? We already know that there are big traders absorbing a lot of the sells in the market anyway. Okay. But yeah, are we seeing lots of shorts open up here to trap traders? Are we seeing a lot of traders getting wrecked? That's another thing that we can look for. Yeah, and it's just we've got to monitor it when it's down there, right? We've got to monitor it when it's down there. But yeah, still very, very happy with how I'm positioned. Still very happy to look for lower prices. Of course, I'm in a short trade, so yeah, I'm always going to say that, right? I am always going to say that. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry, Damien. So yeah, it was. Yeah, I remember now. So you averaged in up here, didn't you? Yeah, I remember. Sorry about that. But yeah, you held out a little bit longer. Of course, you've of course held out a little bit longer. I have taken my TP1, taken my TP2, moved the stop loss to entry. But yeah, like I always do, I always leave a bit in the trade as well to take advantage of, and you can see, you can see that playing out as well, right? So I've only got $735 of margin left in this trade. When I originally entered into the trade, the margin was 3,500 or something. 3,500. So yeah, I've taken a lot of margin out of the trade already. Left a little bit in there, so I can still take advantage of another move down. And I know that people may look at this and think, why are you taking TP1, TP2, TP3? Why don't you just hold out the trade and get a bigger return? Which I could possibly do that, but then it's kind of like, yeah, it's not really what I consider a professional trader does. If you know what I mean, kind of just in a really good trade, and then you're like, I can squeeze more out of this. I can squeeze more out of this. I think it's greed, right? That's greed. And when you get greedy in these markets, you seriously get hurt. So yeah, not being greedy in these markets is a very, very, very hard thing to do. May not sound hard, but it is. Trust me. I'm sure many of you know as well. But yeah, it's kind of just how I prefer to trade, right? Because what I strive for in trading, okay, like the number one goal that I strive for in trading is not, is of course not the profits. Of course, that's part of it. Yes, it's not the profits. It's not the win rate. It's none of that. It's eliminating as much risk out as possible. Okay, that's the one goal that I have, because if you can eliminate as much risk as possible, then the rest of it will just come, right? Eliminate as much risk as possible. Of course, you can't eliminate all of the risk. You're always going to have risk in these markets, but if you can eliminate as much as possible, then the rest of it is just going to come, literally. And that's kind of the number one thing that I strive for, eliminating that risk, and then the rest just comes. So of course, TP1s, TP2s, moving the stop loss to entry, you're eliminating risk there. Okay, once you're in a good trade, you're eliminating risk by taking profit, moving stop loss to entry. Then a long from B, or naked point of control, took profit at C, then the original long is stopped out at entry, giving me a good position where price goes next. Yeah, I remember that as well. So yeah, I remember he took the long trade there, which yeah, really, really nice level to long. Really, really nice level to long. Yeah, again, I didn't take the trade myself, wasn't in my plan. But yeah, of course, Damien always has a good plan as well. Okay, I've seen that in the Discord as well. I've seen he always has a really, really good plan. Okay, and he sticks to that plan and he trades that plan. Okay, it's proof, right? If you have a plan, okay, of course you need to before that have a strategy that works. You need to have good risk management. You have to have all of those things in place before you start planning. Okay, but once you do have that, okay, and you plan, yeah, it can really work out. This is what we're always doing here. We're always planning 2 trades ahead, right? It's like in chess, right? You kind of have to think about this game as chess. Chess players, they plan 2, 3, however many moves ahead. Okay, they plan a few moves ahead, right? And that's exactly what you have to do in this game as well, because it is kind of a game of chess. That's what it is. But like you said, you have to be picky with aggressive entries. Yeah, you do have to be picky. You do have to be picky with aggressive entries because, if you're just taking every single possible entry, okay, aggressively, then that can hurt you quite badly. So you do have to be quite picky with them. But yeah, I mean, if you can be picky, and you can, of course, pick the right ones, not necessarily every single time. Exactly like this area up here. I took an original short trade mainly because I wanted to go to bed and I didn't want to stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning. Okay, but I took a short trade here, took a loss. Okay, then we got that next short trade, and then I took the trade there, and then we've got this big pullback. So it's like, yeah, on an aggressive entry, maybe you'll get the first entry, you'll get stopped out, but then you enter again because you see another sign of strength, and then it goes. Okay. But yeah, you have to be picky with your levels with aggressive entries. And yeah, to be fair, aggressive entries are not my favorite ways to trade. I'd put, to be honest, laddering into a trade above aggressive entries just because, again, it's all personal. It's all like what works for you. But how I trade is I wait for a little bit of confirmation, right? I don't wait for too much confirmation because if you're waiting for too much, you've missed the move. I wait for a little bit of confirmation, like a trade entry trigger. Again, here, the failed auction, okay? Right, I could have entered at the level up here, right? There was a naked point of control up here that I've now removed because it's tapped. There was a naked point of control up there we rejected from perfectly. Okay, I could have shorted at the level, right? I could have shorted at the level, but that's not, again, that's very aggressive. Okay, I, of course, waited for, the aggressive. It's still aggressive, right? But it's just not as aggressive. And of course, right, yeah, I've missed this bit of a move here, okay? But, right, in terms of win rates, okay, the person who takes, the less aggressive trade is always going to, of course, if your strategy is all good, everything's all good, is always going to have a higher win rate than the aggressive trader. However, right, it all evens itself out in the end, right? Because aggressive, well, of course, if you're successful with it, right? Because taking the aggressive approach is quite hard because, again, you have to be picky, like Damien said. But yeah, it kind of evens it out because when you're an aggressive trader, okay, you take more losses. You do. It's just that is true. Okay, you do take more losses, but your entries are usually better. So, with each trade, you're actually squeezing just a little bit more out of the trade, which is of course evening everything out. Laddering is awesome. Underestimated loads. Again, I don't do it myself, but laddering. I'd put a laddering above like super aggressive, because even in this, like till this day, I look at this and I think it's not actually a bad idea to just ladder into this. Like I still look at this and think this is big, horrible area. You know, I like to look for like nice, just simple levels, right, to trade. Okay, but this is like some big area, and it's like I look at this and I think, okay, it's not actually a bad idea to ladder into this. I don't think anyway. But again, it's just not the style of trading that I use, and I think you have to pick a style and you have to stick with it. I don't think you can switch between the styles. I have traded the same for the past year and a half, 2 years. Exactly the same. Nothing has changed. Yeah, you may say it's boring, but it works. So why change it? Why change it whatsoever? So yeah, and again, everything I say is just personal experiences. Right? This is all from my personal experience, and switching between the styles of, you know, trade entries is, yeah, in my experience is not the best thing to do. It's like, okay, stick with one thing. Right, stick with one thing, and yeah, if everything else is good, that will work for you. That will work for you. But of course, there's so many factors. There is so many factors to this game. But yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it there. I think it is. Yeah, we've been live for 45 minutes now. I do have somewhere to be, so I will leave that there. Again, I don't want to repeat myself too many times as well, because I understand we're only seeing a little bit of a pullback. We're not at any major level. We're not, you know, in a new trade. Okay, we're still looking for the same thing, really, and it's, you know, a new major level. It's just which major level are we going to see? Looking like we're going to come down to the lower major levels, but of course anything can happen. So yeah, I will leave that there. I hope you all gain some knowledge from this stream. I hope you all gain some value, and I hope you enjoyed it, of course. So yeah, if you did, please make sure that you do smash that thumbs up button. It really helps me out, helps the channel out, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next live stream, which of course will be tomorrow. I believe tomorrow is Friday. Wow. Okay, this week has gone incredibly quickly. Wow. So yeah, Friday tomorrow. So yeah, have a lovely rest of your day. End it on order flow traders steroids tool. Literally. Yeah, literally. Order flow is traders steroids. Exactly. That's what it is. So yeah. Always good to see familiar faces. Always good to see you here, my friend Damien. So yeah, take care. Visionary members, I'll see you in the Discord as and when I'm needed there. Of course, daily market updates, all of the good stuff. If you do want access to that, first link in the description, it will take you over to, where is it here? This page here. You can gain access to all of that good stuff as well. If you haven't subscribed already, please do that. And yeah, again, I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a lovely evening. And yeah, see you later. Good to see you, Damien. See you later. Goodbye.
Take me home, cause I wanna feel like I belong. They relate to all this pain in my past, so they listen to my song. So let's go back to where it began and where it all started from. Take this chance, one last dance, cause I've been waiting way too long. Take my hand, I wanna show you something. Promise I've been dying to see ya. They say the grass ain't always greener. I guess what they're saying is true. In my dreams that